How are you this morning, Shannon?
I'm good. How are you guys?
We're just fine, thank you.
Okay, Shannon, I felt like you're the most perfect person to talk to because after everything that happened in Orlando over the weekend, my son Colton, not watching TV, not hearing anything, is going to camp. And at camp, there's older kids. They know what's going on.
Right.
I want to be the one to say something, but I don't know if I should. So I would like to ask you, what does a parent do right now?
Well, the short answer is yes. If they're hearing it from other kids, you want to be able to approach it up front. Our number one job as parents is to make them feel attached and safe and secure. And especially, Colton, he really is looking to parents. All of our kids look to us for cues as to what's going on in the world. How am I supposed to perceive this? Can you keep me safe? What do I do if you can't keep me safe? So they're really looking to us for those kinds of questions. And I actually had to ask myself the same question because, I've got a son the same age, and he's going to camps also, and so I'm looking for clues. And we really have to be aware of, what is their developmental level. They may be 8 or 9 years old and not be able to tolerate as much information as is actually being presented and talked about out there. So we want to tailor our conversation that assures them that we're doing our best job to keep them safe and that, yes, bad things happen in the world. And when those bad things happen, we're the safe place to come and talk about it. They're going to hear things from peers that aren't necessarily accurate bits of information, and each person that they come into contact with has a different perception of the world anyways because of their own home experience. So if there's something going on in the home that doesn't feel safe for a kid, their perception of that, what's occurring on the news media, what's going on in the world, or even going on in our own hometown will be very different.
What would you say, Shannon, just because it's a really touchy subject, what if a child 5, 6, 7, 8 years old asks you, Mommy, why does that person not like gay people? What are gay people?
Again, you have to follow your child's lead. You also have to know what's going on in your family and what morals and values you want to teach them because the answer I've got is not going to be right for every single family. It is really important to be able to allow them to talk to you about anything rather than shutting down the conversation. If you shut down a conversation about why is there a homeless person on the street or why is that woman holding hands with another woman or why does my friend have 2 dads or why does this person wear a burqa, if we shut down any of those conversations, we're going to miss bigger opportunities to talk about other things that are really close to home as well, such as their own involvement as they grow up, hopefully, as teenagers dealing with drugs or alcohol or sex. You want to be able to have a conversation with them where they can answer questions and you give them responses that fit for what you want to teach them in your family.
So going back to any tragedies that are happening in the world, can you give us like a basic idea of age-wise when we should or shouldn't say something to our kids?
I was thinking about that quite a bit and whether or not I would just openly tell my son about this. And he happened to walk in when there was a news piece running because I wanted to know, of course, the current events. I wanted to know what's going on. Yeah. And I turned it off. You want to be able to take a break from it yourself and to be able to process it. You want to be able to turn it off. When they're younger than 10, the amount that they're exposed to is more limited than when, some kids have cell phones when they're over 10 years old, than kids who have access to social media, who have their own phones, or who are out and about, working jobs even as young teenagers. So under 10 years old, you want to keep it pretty limited. There's not really any reason to be talking about it under the age of 5 unless they happen to overhear something. And when you're talking about it with young kids, under 8 years old, you want to talk about there are bad things that do happen in this world. And again, I keep saying, reassuring that, we're keeping them as safe as we can, and it's rare that those things happen, although we see it on the news all the time because it is such a big deal when it does happen. And so the older the kids are, if they're a teenager, catch them while you're driving in the car. They have to talk to you at that point. So catch them while you're driving in the car and ask them, what do you think of this? How do you feel about this? Do you have any questions? Do we need to look anything up? And be able to go there with them so that, again, they feel like you're their safe place and they can ask you any of those questions.
It's Shannon Miles. She's a licensed marriage and family therapist. Shannon, thank you so much. You've given us a lot of guidance here. It's tough to be a parent, so it's really helpful when somebody who has the knowledge can help us and guide us through this, because we have no idea what we're doing.
There's plenty of resources also. If you go on to APA.org, which is the American Psychological Association, you can Google a piece about resilience for children. There's an article on 10 really important points, because that is a key to developing really healthy adults.